What's going on, guys? Jaybird back at you in his Paranormal Wednesday Volume 4. It's finally here. I apologize to you guys about missing last week. Unfortunately, things happened. It was beyond my control, but here we are. It's not going to be no big in-depth Paranormal Wednesday. I want to talk about sleep paralysis. Maybe you guys have experienced it. I personally have, so I can attest it is a true thing. Fortunately for me, it was a scary experience, but it wasn't as scary as some of the stories I've read and heard. But we'll get into all that later. I'm also going to read a story that a supporter had sent in to me. He wanted me to read it on Paranormal Wednesday, some of his experiences, and I appreciate you guys doing that. Keep them coming. I will get them in on the Paranormal Wednesdays. Just keep them coming. We're having fun with this. So without further ado, I'll be right back at you and we'll get this Paranormal Wednesday started. Thanks, guys. Alright, guys, I'm back. We're going to get this started with a story from a supporter of Jaybirds' house who had sent me a couple of stories. His name is Dave Cannon. Dave, I really appreciate your input. Thank you, man. If you got any more, keep them coming. Dave is from Princeton, Illinois. And Dave's got two stories. His first story is back when they were kids, him and his older brother. His older brother was just petrified of storms, especially at nighttime. And this is when they were about 3, I think he said 3 and 5 years old. Dave was 3 and his brother Matthew was 5. And his older brother Matthew was really scared of storms, especially at nighttime. And a lot of times at night, when it would storm, his brother would come hop in bed with him just because the storms were that bad for him. I'm not personally just terrified of storms. I don't like them, but I could kind of, relate to it because I'm not, like I said, I'm not petrified, but I can relate to being scared of storms. But anyway, he said one night it was so bad that he got so scared he kept on and on trying to wake Dave up, and just couldn't seem to get Dave awake. So his older brother went down the hallway to his mom and dad, or up the stairs. I'm sorry, Dave. Went up the stairs to his mom and dad's bedroom and woke them up. Told them how afraid he was. They said everything's going to be fine. Just go get back in bed. He was so afraid that he grabbed a blanket that his grandmother had crocheted for him and draped it over him. And he just sat outside his mom and dad's door up at the top of the stairs. And he said he saw a bluish figure with no legs as he was sitting there peering through the little holes in the crochet blanket. Come up the stairs with his hand on the rail and just kind of stand there staring at him for several seconds, I guess, and just disappeared. And it scared him. He was just froze, and he stayed there as long as he could, and he finally ran back, I guess, down the stairs and jumped back in bed with Dave and, woke him up and got in between Dave and the wall. He was so scared. But, those things, man, I know people who have personally seen stuff. As you guys know, I have not actually seen but heard, and I've witnessed this stuff. Maybe not like this experience and as in depth as this experience, but I have witnessed stuff, so I believe in those things. And I'm sure Dave's brother Matthew believes in them, and I'm sure Dave does too. His second story is years later. I think Dave said in 2004, his older brother, the same one from the prior story, had came to visit Dave. And they had all, ate and everything and was settling down for the night, and Dave decided to go to bed. So he goes into his bedroom, and he gets in bed. He's laying there, and he hears the door open, and somebody goes, "Psst," "Hey, Dave," and then they slammed the door real hard, and Dave just thought maybe it was his brother, you know. Um, then he laid there for a few more minutes pondering on it, and then his brother come to the door, opened the door and said, "Did you just open the door and say, 'Psst, hey, Matthew,' and then slam it real hard?" And Dave was like, "No, it wasn't me." And I heard the same thing, except they called my name. And Dave wrote in his story that confused them, how each of them could hear their own names being called. And they agreed that it sounded like their father's voice, but their father had passed away a year and a half earlier. And oh, that gives me chill bumps, man. And they just chalked it up to, that's Dad's joking way of letting us know he's with us and everything's okay. And that story I really like reading, Dave. That was a really good story. I hope I told it well. Um, if I left anything out, or you can remind me and I'll fill it in later or something, but the gist of the story was told. Um, the paranormal is the paranormal. It's unknown, Who knows? Who knows what it is? There's many, many theories and many, many um, types of explanations for all kinds of things, but when you witness one for yourself and it gives you that feeling, and it's not only the physical part as far as seeing or hearing and smelling and even feeling coldness and stuff like that, there's a feeling that you get emotionally, at least I did. And it's, oh man, it's just, I don't know how to explain it. I don't even know how to put it into words, the feeling that you get. Especially when you realize, I just witnessed something that's not supposed to happen according to the law of physics and, such as that. But really great stories, Dave. I really appreciate you writing them in. I really enjoyed reading them here on Paranormal Wednesday. Um, I look forward to doing more stuff like this. So you guys keep them coming. I promise I will get them on here, and I will do the best I can. Now, let's talk about sleep paralysis for just a minute. If any of you guys ever experienced sleep paralysis, comment your stories in the comments below. Hit me up on Facebook, tell me about them, because I'm very, very interested in this subject. I've had sleep paralysis a handful of times, maybe 4 or 5 times throughout my life, and I haven't had an experience with that in quite a few years now. The very first time that I remember experiencing it, I was a young teenager. I'm just guessing here, probably 15 or 16 years old. Um, just lying there asleep, and it was like I was awake. Okay, I could hear stuff going on in the background, a TV going, fan going, stuff like that. I could hear when somebody would talk, but I could not move. I could not move a muscle. I couldn't scream. I tried to scream, couldn't scream. Um, and I just kept sitting there struggling and struggling and struggling to wake up, to move. I was awake, but I couldn't move. And when it kicks in, it just kicks in all of a sudden, and I jerked, awake and opened my eyes. I was like, holy crap, and I was petrified. And that happened to me a few other times throughout my life, 3 or 4 other times, the same exact instance, and they usually happened to me when I was taking a nap. They that I can remember. I don't remember it ever happening like in the middle of the night when I'm in a dead sleep. I don't. It was always like when I'm taking a nap, and there's other things going on, other noises, and you're not. I guess you're not fully asleep, at least consciously. Um, but the part of your brain that like, keeps your muscles from moving, I guess, is asleep. I don't know how to explain it. But you have a lot of people tell stories about what they call the old hag, um, dark figures that would like keep them from moving and keep them from breathing, and they wake up, and this entity is on them. Some people like I said, refer to it an old, scary, witchy-looking lady they call the old hag. There's been stories of just like a shadow person doing that to you, keeping you from breathing, keeping you from moving, and you know that they're there. Luckily, none of that ever happened with any of my experiences. I don't know what I would do if it did. And I mean, if you guys do a little bit of research on this subject, there is some petrifying stories out there that, if true, I mean, I don't see how it didn't drive these people crazy. And for a few, it almost actually did. I mean, it was a very scary thing. And I guess I'm so intrigued by it because I have witnessed the sleep paralysis myself. So go do some research, guys. Read some of the stories. Um, Maybe on a future Paranormal Wednesday, I can read some of your guys' stories. If you have any, anything like the old hag or the shadow people or whatever, um, just send them to me on a message on Facebook. Hit me up through an email, jaybirdshouse@gmail.com. Any way you guys want to. Um, I'm sorry that today's Paranormal Wednesday isn't that long and it isn't in depth. I'm still, working. I'm back to my regular schedule and all that stuff. But we're in the process of fixing to be moving. And I've got myself spread way too thin. But I am doing all I can to keep the videos coming for you guys. I really appreciate the support. Hey, man, keep a smile on those beautiful faces. I love each and every one of you. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Peace out, brothers and sisters. Love every one of you.